Ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys are having a good day out there. Thank you as always for stopping on in, coming on by today. We're going to explore and listen to some Stockhausen. Why did my voice crack? Sorry. We're going to listen to the first part of Oktophonie. Oktophonie, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. This was suggested and sponsored by Alan. So, Alan, thank you so much for the recommendation. Thank you for the support as well. We've listened to one singular piece by Stockhausen, and we're going to listen to this, at least this first part. So, I have pulled up the Wikipedia page for Oktophonie. I don't know. Oktophonie sounds like a little more flow, but Oktophonie almost sounds phony. It says it's a 1991 octophonic electronic composition, of course by Stockhausen, a component layer of Act 2 of the opera Dienstag Ausschlicht. It may also be performed as an independent composition. Alan, you said that the first 15 minutes of the electronic backing for the second act about the war between Archangel Michael and Lucifer, and the audience is encased by a cube of 8 speakers. I think that that's really, really cool. Like that kind of experimentation, that kind of stage setup and audience setup, so that it really, I guess, involves the listener into a certain sort of sense and a certain place. That's kind of cool. Let's go and listen to it, though. We'll naturally discuss it a little bit after. Pulling it up right now. Pulling you guys up right now. Here we go. There it is. good backing track to whatever battle is happening between heaven and hell, basically. Especially if things are acted out on stage. Okay. I'm of many, many, many separate minds on this one. But to begin, you know what? Come on the journey with me, guys. Come on the journey with me. Let's see if we can find something. Let's see if we can find any like live footage of, or at least in some capacity, time lapse loading. Like just to see. So this is the stage that you would be listening to this in. So he'd be performing right in the middle. Okay, but that's kind of interesting how they make the stage there, and you're in a circle like that. All right, that's really interesting right there. Because with this piece, I'm still researching. I'm still looking. With this piece, is there something more? Is there something more? Nah, this isn't. I don't even know what that is. So this is backing music for the onstage act. That's what this is that we're listening to. And I think that's extremely important to know. I'm still trying to read about it and stuff as I'm talking. Because as backing music to some sort of onstage act and theater or something like that that's happening, this works incredibly well. It's haunting, it's eerie, it's otherworldly, it's cosmic, it sounds uncanny. It absolutely. All the different swirling sounds that come in, shocking and sharp sounds, breeding this kind of chaotic atmosphere and still keeping it contained. Random instruments that come in, the saxophone, the synths that ride through. There's a lot happening in here, and I think would work extremely well for building this sort of tense atmosphere. As it is for me sitting here just listening to it, and that's it. It's not my thing, because it's not melodic and ambient enough for me to listen to it as an ambient track and something to kind of relax or at least, listen to in that regard. And it's not up enough, for lack of a better word, to be something that I would actively listen to. There was a moment, let me pull it back to the piece. There was a moment at 8 minutes and 50 seconds, like I said, to pay attention to. This kind of came in, this little almost percussive sound, and it sounds like it was becoming some sort of beat of some sort, even as experimental as it may be. But it never evolved into anything like that. And I feel like I was wanting some sort of payoff if I'm going to be listening to this as just an audio journey. If there's visuals and a whole, if there's a whole, what's the word I'm thinking of? Visual, theatrical aspect and dramatic aspect to it, then I think it makes a lot more sense. But for me, just sitting here listening to it, it doesn't really do too much for me at all. Oktophonie is an electronic piece. It can be played back independently as an octophonic 8-channel tape work, or it can be heard as background music in Invasion, Explosion mit Abschied, the second act of Stockhausen's opera Dienstag Ausschlicht. In the context of the opera, the swirling, diving, and sizzling, exploding sounds, I just Googled it, and this is one of the articles and things that came up, are oral constructs representing bombs going off, missiles shooting upwards, and planes crashing down. Absolutely, you can definitely hear the sounds of war and chaos in here. Low bass drones and ethereal sliding chords create kind of a miasma of war. The general setting and plot are further described in the page on Act 2. Okay, so that's what this is. I said it was like Kabbalah. It looked like. So this is actually the placement of the speakers. Oktophonie. That is Hausen stock. That is really, really cool. The basic tracks were made by Stockhausen, assisted by his son. 4 speakers are arranged in a square around the audience, and 4 are set in a square above each of the floor speakers. So this is a true experimentation in sound. And I really admire that. Like I said, there's, to me, and I've mentioned it many, many times, but I'm going to reiterate once again, I take this channel as a music appreciation class or something of that nature. And so even though I can rightly admit that this is not for me musically, it is really, really cool to see the performance and the experimentation and the ideas behind it, and to really come away appreciating that, because I think that that's incredible how that's done. Elements develop slowly at first, possibly so that the spatial movement in 3D can be appreciated more easily. Kind of leading you in, right? Dipping your toes into that water. Here's all the instruments used and such. He says, I, together with my dad, produced the sounds materials, which were later processed by my dad and made into this. Of course, he wrote the score, which would indicate, for example, to play a C sharp. But what this C sharp could become, I could determine myself to a great extent, while he was correcting and making suggestions. So I was the interpreter of the score. You know, it'd be kind of cool to, I mean, obviously there's a lot of technical stuff in here in this interview with his son. It would be really cool to see if we could, like, at least find a little bit of a performance to it. Like, look at all this. This is interesting how certain sounds are supposed to be the actual characters in here. Like, I think you got to admit, that's really, like, that's really cool to create theater with sound and not in a typical conventional way. Look at that, man. That'd be so cool to see. And of course, here's all the speakers and stuff. Like, I think that this would be really cool to get to be involved in this live. I think that would be absolutely amazing. Do you think we can find, let's see, give me one more shot to see if I can find something more, perhaps. I'm looking at pictures now. So once again, here's that stage and how it was performed. The chairs look actually somewhat comfortable to an extent. Maybe a little cushion. Bring your own little cushion to it. I'm going to try one more time, see if I can find a video. I'm sure it wasn't, like, allowed to be performed. That's probably, or allowed to be recorded, I should say. I don't see anything. No, nothing on there. But that is really, really cool. Once again, I just think 100% from a appreciation point of view, I think that that's absolutely brilliant, you know, to come up with that and the exact speaker placements, the speakers and everything representing different things and the sounds representing different characters. I think that that's really, really cool. So thank you, Alan, so much for the recommendation. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate that. Let me know what you guys thought of it, of course, in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, for being here. Maybe you learned something out of this, maybe not. But either way, thank you for sticking around. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all later. Bye, guys.